and whether life offers for you to go to a convention or a mixer, do webinars, articles, advertising, whatever, social media, newsletters, podcasts, maybe you're like doing sessions. Make sure that what you're doing helps you connect with yourself first in order to be the fullest embodiment and expression of who you came here to be for the other. Always remember to align to being your own authority, and you will find the right way for you to connect with your own fractal. There may be some bumps and bruises along the way for those of you who have trial and error as the name of the day, but it is part of a universal truth that we are all here for each other. You might be hearing that I get a little emotional in my teachings. This is because when I feel something deeply, I definitely, as I'm an emotional teacher, I can feel something inside of me, a recognition of feelings. And so these fractals are more than theoretical. They represent a connection of me to me and you to you, and finding the truth inside. Because the people that we meet, these experiences that we have, are part of our fractal path, and each one of us has this beautiful magnetic monopole, I would call it, this inherent force within our design, which guides us through our lives, attracting and being attracted to those who belong on our fractal journey. And this invisible force leads us to the right people, places, and experiences that are essential for achieving our life's mission. It can lighten the load of the pain and suffering, the miasma of thinking that you have to do something other than what is actually correct for you. And so as we move into this new era, we can separate from the old ways of doing business in order to enlighten to life's greater mechanics, first beginning with ourselves, and then inspiring us to be active participants where life is being lived through us. It's a very different experience to feel life being lived through you. Now, it's important to note as I go through this program with you that I am starting at the foundations, and that means that it's for the layperson, it's for anyone. Those of you who are my students, you know that there's so much more than just the surface, and yet we're going to do our best to keep things on the surface in order to help everyone stay the course, as in not feel overwhelmed or left behind with jargon. So please do feel comfortable asking any question. There are no stupid questions in my classes. Do know that we all move through cycles in life. There's life cycles that we can explore. And sometimes those cycles, we can absolutely see other people in them. Now, when it comes to how long people stay in our lives, sometimes it's briefly. Might be some seasons, or others may last a lifetime. Regardless of the length of anyone's presence in our lives, each person's impact is significant and utterly unique, just as our own designs are, and just as our lives can impact or affect change in another. So Rob would say something to the effect of, it's one of the most dangerous things that you can do, to allow somebody into your aura. And I don't want you to take that and freak out about going out into the world. You know, it's a time of separation. There's already been a lot of chaos and confusion and people feeling afraid. It's vital to understand that there are interactions that are going to be a part of life's greater mechanics. And if you have an attunement to your body compass, your personal process of being your own authority, that even if those interactions may not look or feel as quote-unquote good as we would like, even if there is some pain, we can honor and respect each person's role that they play in a way that helps us let go when it's no longer aligned. So one of the things I want you to remember is to stop negating, shaming, blaming, self or other hating, because in truth, that frequency is not something that is going to bring you closer to the truth that's inherent inside of you. If we can embrace our own personal process of being our own authority and allow ourselves to align to this fractal nature of which we were born into, this compelling framework for understanding not only our professional and personal interactions, but also our global connective field, this interweaving of the web as we all spiral through space and time. Whether you're a business person or an educator like me, maybe you're a lifetime learner, I warmly invite you to dive deep into your studies. If there's a lot of language that seems a little bit overwhelming, I refer you to mybodygraph.com, which will have our little owl friend that shows us, some of the language. If you need to look up a word, that can definitely help. And feel free to ask under any of the information that you find in any of these courses, so that we can all help each other significantly enhance our personal development and our business efficacy using the concepts of the human design system as laid forth by Ra Uru. So in this first lesson of embracing the principle of fractal alignment, we can simply look for signposts. Frustration or dissatisfaction, stagnation, and stuckness are those things that show us a signpost to stop if we are generative. That's the primary recognition of what I'd like you to experiment with. Just let go. If you're trying to push, your mind is probably running the show. And that's going to be something that the rest of us who are non-generative, projectors, reflectors, manifestors, we can amplify that frustration. And when we feel that frustration, we can know then that there's somebody around us that's frustrated that we're amplifying, or that we're attempting to do something that maybe we weren't well built for. So I just want you to see it as a signpost of stop. Just like a manifestor in road rage, like angry, might want to pull over and stop and cool off. Or a projector who's incredibly bitter and resentful might want to take a time out. Or the reflector who is disappointed with life might want to get off to themselves and refresh, recharge, rejuvenate. This stopping point, instead of pushing through, can help us to achieve greater success in all aspects of our lives if we could just experiment so that we know inside what to do. So, if you could reimagine how you connect with others through the lens of being a fractal family, we could enrich and contribute meaningfully to our life's success. For the generator, it's satisfaction. For the manifestor, peace. For the reflector, surprise. And of course, for someone like me, this projector's here to facilitate success for others. This leads us to experience the expression of the nature of our spirit inside. And this deeper understanding of human connections transforms how we approach our learning, mentoring, and professional growth. And this ultimately is the key that leads us to more fulfilling and successful career, business, and personal endeavors.